Hello, guys. This is the first interactive session of Red Pollutants by GreenAmmo. The session is about a discussion on the concepts of sustainable menstruation, where we talk with people who are using or are involved in the process of developing or using alternative methods of menstrual products. In case if many of you are wondering why there's a guy who's actually being a part of this session, even though we have a lot of women in our team, the idea of a guy to take the session is to, first of all, break the taboo related to the subject. So, without further ado, we would be introducing our guest. Her name is Mouli, and she is working with Vishwa Gauri Charitable Trust. She has been a user of menstrual cups for a long time, and she would be sharing her experiences and her thoughts and opinions about the usage of menstrual cups. The objective would be to share these ideas with like-minded people and for others who would want to know or are curious about the topic. Now, this curiosity is not only restricted to women who are willing to try a new product for menstruation, but also for guys who might be concerned about the health and well-being of the women regarding the switch to a different product apart from the traditionally used sanitary pads. So we shall have Mouli joining us in some time. Okay, and we are still waiting for Mouli to join in. Just a moment. I guess she would be live. Yes. Hmm. Okay, so she's sending the request, I believe. Uh, and so while we are waiting for our guest to join us on the session, just a few things that I would like to talk about. That I have been also in the field of academic study, and I've been seeing that there is a lot of studies which shows the impact of sanitary pads, which contains plastic on the health. And for that, there have been a lot of people who have been considering the shift towards menstrual cups, which are environmentally more friendly and healthier for the user. My wife is also an avid user of menstrual cups, and she has always been advocating the need for this kind of product. So, we have our guest ready with us. Hello,
Hi
Molly.
Amit.
How are
Yeah.
you?
Is my voice audible?
Yes, you are audible completely. Thank you
Okay,
so much
okay.
for
All good.
joining us for this session. I really
Okay,
appreciate you taking the time, and especially
no
considering the
problem.
fact that this particular topic is a kind of a taboo. So you
Yes.
agreeing to talk with a guy regarding this particular issue, it
Yeah.
actually means a lot. But I believe that this can go a long way towards breaking the taboo and making others
Right.
feel comfortable
Right.
talking about this subject. So,
Yeah.
Molly, you have been a user of menstrual cups. What
Yeah.
I want to first ask you is the most basic question is what has been your experience of using this product?
Yeah. Great. So I'll just start from the beginning how it all happened. So it was like as usual, I was a user of pads for a really long time since it all began. And it was really pathetic because you have a lot of issues. It was not only about, the change and the whole usage of water and being sanitized all the time, not only that, but also the idea of being healthy and being free from any medical condition, like if any rashes, and you enter into a field where there is you are already put into a taboo zone, that you are under a guilt, plus at the same time you're facing some medical conditions. It's a very delicate part of your body, you can't just let it just be. So that phase was really difficult for a really long time. And then eventually I met this friend of mine who was also my roommate in Bangalore, and I was working with Milap at that point of time. And she introduced me first that there's something known as menstrual cup. Now my question was, what is it about? Because if I'm inserting something inside my body, I should be aware what it's made of. I have heard a lot of stories where there are medical conditions again once you insert some foreign object. So I started my whole research in terms of what is it made of? Who are we trying to, where do I get it from? Is it India made, or is it based out of US or UK or wherever? So eventually I came across this brand called Boond. So I am ever grateful to them. And they are an India based brand, and I went through all of their reviews as well as forwards, and that's how the journey started. I ordered like there was a lot of misconception regarding how do I use it, how do I insert it. So those will be major questions every woman will have, but it's not a great deal. Your body gets used to it. So once I ordered, it did not take, I would say it was just the first cycle which became a little difficult. There were questions as to how I do it, but if you go on YouTube, it tells you a lot of ways how it is, what are the possible ways to insert the cup. So I selected my own, which was comfortable for me, and eventually it started off. And ever since, like the first time the first cycle I had the cup, it changed my life. I could go swimming, I could go for treks, I can go out with anybody, I can go and play badminton. At that point of time, I was on and off, I was going for badminton games a lot from the office. So it never became a hurdle, which was there before. And I could even go to parties. I feel like even going to somebody else's place became a huge issue when you have sanitary napkins, because you don't know where to dispose, and how do you ask people around, like in terms of just saying it out to the public. So you have to carry your materials together if you're going out somewhere. But when it's a cup, it's all good as long as you're carrying your sanitizer and you have a soap and water. So that's all that you need to keep it going. So yeah, that's how it has been. And ever since I've just been talking about it, telling people about it, that's how I have told women how my experience has changed and how my body feels so much. I would say it's a form of empowerment, a big form of empowerment. And unless a person uses it, they will not understand what I'm talking about. So it's a huge shift in terms of how you behave, how you take on things like activities in your life. It'll completely change. So that's how it has been so far. Yeah.
Actually, the same thing. My wife, being an avid user
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
menstrual cups, she keeps on talking and vehemently talking about the advantages of the cup. And by this
Yeah.
time, I almost feel like I have memorized in my somewhere in my head all these things. That
Yeah.
how the cups are so much useful, and how that has made her life so much easier, in terms of mobility, in terms of
Yes.
not being concerned about changing pads. At the same time, she also keeps on emphasizing on the fact that it is also a huge money saver, because
Yeah, it's a
compared to.
huge economic saving. Yeah, because even if like, sorry to cut you, but even if you think about
Yeah.
in terms of economic, like I feel sanitary napkins are very expensive. Like on a round, you will at least need one packet. One packet of a good quality costs around 250 to 300 rupees, while this cup has a validity up to 5 to 10 years. So even if you use it for 3 to 4 years, one cup, then also it's a huge economic difference.
Exactly, exactly. So that I think is a huge, amazing point. Uh, but tell me something. The news, the television advertisements and everything. they all talk about this long duration pads, and there's all these different varieties that is there, and none of them actually talk about the difference, because I haven't seen any ads which is about the menstrual cups.
Okay.
Most of the
Yeah.
sanitary ads are about pads. So,
Yeah.
as a person, as an outsider from this particular domain or topic, why do you think, that is the case? Because do you think that actually misleads a lot of women or a lot of girls to think that the pads are safer, or that's the only viable option, and not the cups?
Right. So this was exactly the question that came like around 3-4 days back from my husband when I said that I'm going live with you, and what is it about? So I told him, like, he knows everything about it. He's been living with me, so same status as you. Maybe he has also memorized. So his first question was, why not ads? Like, why are there? Why can't I see any ads that's coming up? And you have been talking about it for so long. So yeah, I feel that that as much as I've read, and as much as I know the companies who are working in this area of menstrual cups, all are mainly startups. Okay, they do not have any, especially in India I'm talking about, they are startups. They do not have any backup, or they are not corporate houses, they are not companies as such. They have not made a lot of money to go ahead and go into social media. And social media, yes, they are only using social media, I would say. Facebook and Instagram will give you a lot of coverage on menstrual cup, but when you go to ads or when you go to larger framework, it's been ruled by sanitary napkins, and that's a huge issue, I feel. One, what you mentioned, that it's misleading, because women, as much as so many campaigns you'll see from the government itself to go and distribute sanitary napkins among rural women, but there is no empowerment in terms of information on menstrual cups. Why is it so? I feel the big houses of the media houses building on ads are ruled by the sanitary napkin people, are ruled by the companies who have been monopolizing this whole sector for a really long time, and they have not included menstrual cups for the business value. That's what I feel. So if you think about the economic side of it, why would somebody go for a 3-year purchase or 4-year purchase one time, while you can take it at a monthly level? So your business gets into a huge shift. So when it
Yes.
does, we see a number of times, like you take baby food. So baby food is another area where you will find so many disruptive ideas on ads, like you do not know which side to take, and you don't know which company is doing what. It's exactly the same juggle over here, I feel. It's more about that these startups have not been pushed that much. Recently I found some positive stories covered by Better India and few of the platforms on men who have started putting in their thoughts, and there are some men entrepreneurs in this menstrual cup field. So if you do not give that space, there is no point that the ads will come out, because if one is overruling on the other, and you want to mislead the audience. So yeah, I feel it has to be organic right now. That has to be the way. Like now we are talking, and there will be, if we are reaching 5, 10, 15 people, they reach to the others. That's the medium right now to follow,
Word
because
of mouth, yes.
inclusion at this stage is a very big factor for menstrual cups.
So, the what you're trying to say basically is, first of all, it's a monopolized market, and
Yeah.
secondly, there needs to be more of a word of mouth awareness among the
Yes.
users, that there is an alternative viable option that they can at least consider or try.
Yep.
And in terms of viability. So,
Yeah.
but tell me something. Using this cup, what have you faced any problems? For any reason, do you think that there can be a scope where a pad could be better than a cup? So, is there any challenges or any health problems that you might have faced while using this?
Not at all, not at all. So I so far so good. I have not faced any issues, and I cannot go back. Like, even if I have in my weirdest thoughts that for example, it's just not available, a cup is not available. Like, just like I have kept some extra cups in my house in case one gets lost. it's in that stage. Like I
That
cannot
sounds
even
completely
think of,
familiar.
going back to that, because it just feels once you get into this mode, you just cannot go back to that. There are so many positives in this that so far so good. I have not faced any problems. On this note, I feel women are very tabooed themselves. They live in a zone or a balloon of taboo uh, regarding menstrual cups, because I have faced few incidents. Like I'll just tell you one out of them. I'm not naming anybody, but there are few women who have like met, and I have shared similar thoughts just to share it as a spread of the whole use. And they have come up saying, how can you touch your own blood? So now if that's the question, then we have to ask the women first. Like I do not understand like from where it creeps in, because again, I don't want to bring in religion. It might be a religious factor, it might be family related upbringing that has caused you to question this. But the whole idea that it's bad blood, the whole idea that it's something impure, and I do not understand like how can you not touch something which is coming out of your body. And there is nothing as far as touch is concerned. You're just washing off your blood and reinserting the cup. That's it. It's simple. And there are among and this I'm saying among the group of people that we belong to. I'm not even talking about people who do not have access to knowledge. I'm talking about people who are educated and working in fields similar to us. They still have these kind of taboos. So unless we break that, I feel we cannot take a step forward. So
Right.
it's very and it's very problematic, Amit, because unless those people use it, you will not be able to push them to that brink. That I felt in terms of use, it's so much in their head about napkins, napkins, napkins. They're unable to push themselves forth that it's not that bad. You can try using a cup, and it's not about your blood or whatever it is. Like the world can do whatever shaming they want to, but it's after all you who has to deal with it. So this is some kind of thought in some women that I've found while taking across this among people.
Breaking the taboo, yeah, that is so
Yeah.
true. Like, it is important to break this mindset among people, that and make them more perspective towards, or open towards the concept of having an alternate product. But at the same time, when I was doing a little bit of my own research on the health impacts of the sanitary pads, and most of them they have a plastic lining, right? And
Right.
that contains chemical
Right.
called bisphenol A. Okay, and bisphenol A is a known endocrine disruptor, which means
Yep.
basically it blocks the impact of hormones. Okay, and that, even at a layman's term, cannot be a good thing to, it does not sound like a good thing. And obviously it is not, because it is disrupting the function of the normal hormones in our body. So when it is going inside a very sensitive part of the body, it cannot have a good outcome. But it is, again, it is very ironic that these other things which are, they do not surface up in media,
Yes.
they are not discussed as much,
Yep.
and they are only restricted to the realms of scholarly articles and research papers, which
Right.
also needs to change, and probably more discussion needs to be engaged in the topic of why a particular thing is better than the other, including the
Right.
health, the economic, and the socio-cultural factors that it ensues. But that's really nice. And probably with this discussion, later on in future there might be a switch. uh, at the same time, there is also the problem of pollution, right? The plastic
Yeah.
in the
I was
the
just
pads.
coming to that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just coming to that. That also the idea that you just said regarding the hormone, like I just forgot. Like this is a very big point. I don't know how much it will suffice for another female body, because every female body is different and it works differently. So I do not know how it will work out for others. But for me, one very plus point was there was a reduction in my cramps as soon as I started using the cup. So how I got to know about, like, then I tried to research why is it happening, like why is there sudden reduction, because there used to be a very massive 2 days at least at the beginning I was completely off because there was a huge cramp issue full of my lower body. And suddenly it went down and I could face that there is a change. So I tried to understand why it happened. So it says that since it's a suction where, you know, the blood is getting collected, it releases, the flow of the blood is much easier. While if you're pressing it against your vagina with a pad, it's very difficult because when you're pressing it, it's soaking, but after a point, there's a stop. There is no air passage. So your vagina is not able to breathe technically. But when you're keeping a suction over there, it has whole space where it breathes well and there is better circulation for the blood to come out of your body. So this is another important point which I thought that I'll bring up when you just talked about the way the pads add up to the medical issues as well.
Yeah, and to make the matters worse, there are pads which are for long term, 12 hours and all that. So even worse, I guess, right?
Yeah.
In
So
that case,
I think,
it can only make the matter
I
worse.
don't know how long people use it because it again changes from person to person how frequently they change. But in this case, in the cup, you don't even like, you just feel when it's time to just go for a change. You don't even need to keep a tap on it. Like I remember several number of times getting stained by by using the sanitary napkins, but never ever with a cup. And even when I've traveled to the hills and like my recent experience, it was crazy. Like I was traveling in Uttarakhand and there was a roadblock and we had to deroute. And I was on my periods, and of course you understand how it is when you go to the high up hills. There is no space, not even except petrol pumps. You do not get anything where you can get a washroom. So, and thankfully I had the cup and that's why I survived, because there was a huge deroute and we had to travel extra for 6 to 8 hours. So in these kind of situations, I feel if you do not have a cup with you, it's a major block. Because adding on to the plastic again, what you were saying, like to the ecology as well, like to the environment, you just have to dispose it, and now you do not have it under your control. You have to dispose it anywhere, maybe at the hillside or wherever. Like I don't know how people will go about it, being as rough they are with plastic bottles itself. I do not know what they will do with it. So it becomes a huge mess. Like if you think from the individual perspective also, it's a mess how that person comes up with all of this, adding to the environment pollution. While for the cup, you're just free. You're just free of everything. Yeah.
That's I think that's one of the huge advantage, at least from a person from others, or at least from males, like because even though it's not related to the usage of cup, but the pollution that is created, we are living in the same planet, and we are sharing the
Right.
same space. So whatever we do, and if that is impacting the earth, the ecosystem, then that also becomes a common shared concern for everybody, which is also another
Right.
point why or how this taboo related to the subject can be, I think, in my opinion, it can be addressed.
I think another way also, Amit, to address the taboo is, like you mentioned at the beginning, why is it a boy and a girl speaking about it? Uh, First, we have to break that at the home space, is what I feel. So in the home space, like I remember, like say if it's my brother or say a group of my friends who are boys, uh, there has to be some level of sensitivity that has to go in to understand, to not only read it in the biology books in your 9th and 10th, but just to take it, since you're not feeling a woman's body, what's going on, those people have to have some level of discussion, and they should be open to the idea that when a woman comes to me and says, I am on my periods, there has to be a level of sensitivity that comes out right away. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Say, I went for this Uttarakhand trip with a group of boys. I was the only girl over there. Knowing as soon as I started with my periods, I opened up to them that I'm on my menses. I may not be able to sit at the backside of the car because of the jerks. So I will be sitting at the front. And they continue to be aware and be sensitive to my issues. Like if we have to stop, we have to stop. We have to check for the next stop wherever it is. So in order to bring in this level of sensitive behavior, we women have to be vocal about it first. Just saying it loud, like what does it take? Like if I'm a 18-year-old night, I'm not saying that you start off at 13, 14. Might be difficult. It's new to your whole body. So it might be difficult to just speak out. Once you reach a stage where you know that you can open up about it, I feel that will make the first level of taboo change. And then we take steps forward. So at the home level, with your friends, with people who are men, try to be more vocal, is what I would say to all women. Say what is the issue. If you're facing cramps, if you're in pain, tell them this is what's happening to my body. Deal with it. That's all people need to do. Deal with it. There is no other way out.
Well
So
said, well
that's
said.
very important. Yeah, that's very, very important for people to get sensitive to the topic first.
Exactly, exactly. It is important because with knowledge and sensitivity, then only we can talk openly about these things, and we can actually try to find out the important aspects towards it. And then we can
Right.
find out a solution which is more sustainable and which is more environmentally friendly to health as well as to the environment. So
Right.
yeah, I mean that's beautifully rounded up. Thank you so much, Mouli. One last question that I would like to
Yeah.
ask you is,
Yeah.
I can understand that you would, vehemently support anyone to switch to a menstrual cup. But what would be your last advice to young girls or women who are yet to try this product, or they are not aware of this? What would you suggest to them?
So, one, please read a lot. What is it? What is it about? What is a cup? What is the rate of usage of the cup across the world? So, first is your motivation there, because if women across the world can do it, we are no less. First is there. I'm completely talking from an Indian perspective because I have faced that society, so I will talk from that perspective. So first will be to read on it, to go through YouTube videos, try and see as much information you can collect. Second, if possible, get in touch with a user, someone who is using it, okay, someone who has been with it for a while. Take advices on how to go about it. Once you order in a cup, try to see if you have any customer care of that particular product. There are areas, like especially for Boond, I can just speak for them. Like, I really love that brand. Like, I have heard the person who is in charge, the Spock from Boond, she is on call even a person is in the washroom. She's that, responsive to the confirmation calls because it is so sensitive. So if you have someone like that, be on call with that person. If you want to be on call with a user, be on call with a user if you're using it for the first time. Do not hesitate. Like, for the first time, there might be, you feel like peeing a lot. That's something that comes as first. Eventually, like, that feeling will go off. Give it time. If you're feeling uncomfortable, take it out right then. Give it time to your body. Do not feel stressed. Why is it not happening to me? Like, why am I feeling this? It's okay. It's okay. Everything takes time. So I think gathering a lot of knowledge and gathering knowledge with a user regarding the product, both are important for the girls who are likely to switch, who are likely looking for switch. I think both of these are important to take the first step first and then go ahead, because there's a lot of gray area regarding the use of menstrual cup in the minds of the girls, which come up as scary areas. So in terms of getting scared, instead of getting that, read through, view things which are there on media first, and then go ahead.
True, true, true. It is important to go through the information. It is there online. You can go through Google.
Yeah.
You can search all the information. I'm sure, and everyone who is curious about it, they can actually try to get an understanding before they actually made the switch. And obviously,
Yeah.
it's important that they have to be in contact, or if they can talk with somebody who has already used it, they can give
Yeah.
them a better understanding about the idea and how to use everything.
Right. And all the
Well,
users should just spread the word. All the users should spread the word and gift as many menstrual cups on birthdays to all the women that you know, and we can bring about the change
even
together.
guys, I
That's
think
what would be my.
even
Yeah, even
even
guys.
guys can
Yeah,
do that.
just keep, like,
Gifting
giving
menstrual
gifts.
cups to their friends
Yeah.
or someone, as long as the women don't take an offense to that to that,
Yeah.
they should not. I believe that they should
If
not.
you're that close, I think you can
Yeah,
go ahead with it. It's great. I think that's
exactly,
the best thing that guys can do to impress women these days. So I feel that can be the next Valentine gift that people can be looking forward to. That's a
See,
great change for
there you
your
go, guys.
woman.
Like, there's one solution that you have. So you can give a menstrual cup to women that you're close to. to truly say that you care.
Yeah, and
You
you
care
change her
about them and you
life.
care about the environment.
Yes, yes. I think that's amazing. Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Mouli, for this wonderful talk and the time. And
Thank
I
you,
wish you the
Amit.
best. And
Thank you.
we will have a talk. We look forward to have more sessions with you on
Sure.
different topics. And
Sure.
all right then, take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Stay safe. Bye bye.
You too. You too. Bye bye.